In the news tonight, the Independence Parade returning to Kensington Oval this year. Barbados seeking to improve its trade facilitation in the maritime sector.
Broadcasting from our studios in the Pine St. Michael, this is CBC NewsNight, starting now.
Very good evening to you. I'm Lisa Broom. Thank you so much for tuning in. In our top story tonight, the Independence Parade will be returning to Kensington Oval this year. This announcement from Minister of Home Affairs and Information Wilfred Abrams, who says the national event was held at the Usain Bolt Sports Complex in 2023 because the facilities at Kensington Oval were unavailable. He explains the Oval was expecting to host an upcoming cricket tour and efforts were being made to prevent the field from being damaged. He was speaking during a media conference to announce plans for an action-packed November to celebrate the country's 58th independence.
A lot of people seem to have enjoyed the Usain Bolt complex, but we reverted to Kensington because Kensington allows for a much wider attendance. With the Usain Bolt complex, we had some logistical difficulties with traffic, persons getting in, and then there were a lot of people who were disappointed. We had a greater demand for tickets than we were able to supply because of the capacity of Usain Bolt. So we've gone back to Kensington as being the largest suitable venue that allows comfort in watching, right? It allows ease of access, and then it allows for the march back through with the troops. The other thing as well is where the Prime Minister and Cabinet takes the salute is of significance. When it was at the garrison, it had to be done in front of the government headquarters, right? At Kensington, you do it in front of Parliament.
Minister Abrams is calling on Barbadians to turn out in their numbers to the numerous national and community-based activities planned for Independence 2024. He says the events will begin from tomorrow with the annual Remembrance Day Parade, which starts at 8 a.m. at National Hero Square.
On Sunday, November 10th, is the NIFCA Lit Limes. On Friday, November 15th, we have the NIFCA film screenings. On Saturday, November the 16th, at 10 a.m. is the NIFCA Visual Arts grand opening of the finals exhibition. On Saturday, November 16th at 6 p.m. is the Spirit of the Nation show. On Sunday, November 17th at 6 p.m. is the NIFCA Performing Arts Gala. Saturday, November 23rd, starting at 10 a.m. is the Genealogy Marketplace, and that's going to be at the Archives Department. On Saturday, November 23rd as well, at 1 p.m. is the Armory Tour and the open day for the protective services at the BDF headquarters. Sunday, 24th of November at 10 a.m. is the National Service of Thanksgiving. On Thursday, November 28th, will be the Independence Concert. Also on Thursday, November 28th, is the opening of the Marcus Garvey Amphitheatre, and that's at Queen's Park. On Saturday, November the 30th, is the Independence Day Parade, which will include the presentation of leadership badges and the presentation of insignia. That's at Kensington Oval, and that is open to all. On Saturday as well, on Independence Day in the evening, from 6 p.m., is the finals of the Prime Minister's Cup, a football competition.
Well, staying with that media conference, we also heard that government is moving ahead with plans to invite Barbadians in the diaspora, that is, to come home next year. Minister in the Prime Minister's office, Senator Dr. Chantal Munro-Knight, says the Secretariat for Regathering 2025 will officially start work on Monday to coincide with the independence activities. The theme for the initiative is Come Long Home. Senator Munro-Knight said the Secretariat will be led by former Minister Senator John King, who has a wealth of experience working within communities. Minister Munro-Knight explains that St. Lucie will kick off the regathering activities in January, while St. Michael will be the last parish to host events in November. She says all the parishes have been assigned a color and a theme. In addition, from November 30th to December 31st, there will be an island-wide celebration under the theme Family and Friends.
We will be standing up the Secretariat for the regathering come Monday. Regathering will be held under the theme Come Long Home. And it is really about inviting Barbadians from right throughout the diaspora to come long home to Barbados to celebrate one, culture, of course, but also as well to celebrate, to come back home, to be able to celebrate all of the significant things that Barbados has been able to achieve, particularly as we've come out of COVID. But I also want to say the focus for regathering is, yes, on celebration, but it's also going to be very community driven. We want to be able to highlight the tremendous work that is happening within communities across a number of different spheres. So you will see for regathering, part, yes, celebration, but we're also encouraging parishes and communities to do philanthropic projects. We want people to get together, to repair schools, to look at areas within their communities that they can work together on to uplift the communities. We want to get back to that Barbadian spirit that was about helping one another.
Barbados has joined with France and Kenya in advocating for the implementation of global taxes on carbon emissions ahead of the opening of the 2024 UN Climate Change, or COP29 conference in Azerbaijan. Sectors targeted include maritime shipping, where funds generated can be used for climate resilience in developing countries. Prime Minister Mia Amor-Motley, French President Emmanuel Macron, and Kenya's President William Ruto proposed the Solidarity Levy in a joint op-ed in Project Syndicate, an international non-profit media organization that publishes and syndicates commentary and analysis on a variety of global topics. The three highlighted the need to tax largely undertaxed sectors contributing significantly to pollution, including aviation, shipping, and fossil fuel industries. They add that no country is immune to the worsening effects of the climate crisis, as with each passing year, states witness more climate-related destruction. And coming up on NewsNight, government beefing up its legislative framework for the maritime sector. Barbados is working to improve trade facilitation in the maritime sector. That's according to Minister of Energy and Business, Senator Lisa Cummins. She has revealed the Trade Facilitation Task Force under her ministry has been assessing the entire system, and a full-time consultant has also been engaged to assess the various elements that are presenting challenges.
And what do I mean when I say that? The Bridgetown Port has introduced the Maritime Single Window. The Maritime Single Window has been operationalized from a technological perspective, but it still remains to be operationalized on the ground. And it still needs to have the Easy Pay integration completed for payments. The electronic single window, which sits under my ministry as well, is in an advanced stage of development. The port community system, which was introduced by the Bridgetown Port when I was the chairman at the time of the Bridgetown Port, that is in an advanced state of development. And under the Customs and Excise Department, Asicuda World is in now for the next phase of its rollout in 2025.
Senator Cummins' comments came in the upper house, where she led off debate on a suite of merchant shipping bills. They include the Merchant Shipping Liability and Compensation Bill, liner conferences, multimodal transport, and maritime marriage.
The Maritime Marriage Bill, for example, creates an environment where Barbados registered ships now have the opportunity to create marriages, to perform marriages. The multimodal transportation legislation allows for multiple different types of vessels to be able to move cargo and puts a legislative framework in place. The liner conferences creates in the way that I just described. The airline networks, Star Alliance, One World, all of them, to create alliances where you can move on ships from one place to the other move cargo on ships in particular, while working within a band of entities.
Sir Trevor Carmichael has been recognized for the distinguished service he has provided to the Barbados Museum and Historical Society. This was done at an event held to show appreciation for his work. Akeem Klinkett tells us more.
This special ceremony was held to honor the legacy of Sir Trevor Carmichael and as a mark of respect for his contribution to the Barbados Museum and Historical Society. As a part of the tribute to him, the Walled Garden Theatre was renamed the Trevor Carmichael Walled Garden. Addressing the gathering, Minister in the Prime Minister's Office with Responsibility for Culture, Dr. Chantal Monroe-Knight, highlighted, among other things, Sir Trevor's negotiation with landowners at the Land Conservatory at Pebbles Point to allow access to the enslaved burial ground at Newton Plantation. She said the burial ground allows for a lot of important historical Barbadian stories which future generations now have the chance to know.
So Trevor Carmichael negotiated the agreement for the gift of the enslaved burial ground at Newton Plantation, at which now we have multiple streams of stories emerging, again, telling the Barbadian story in an authentic voice. And when the government is adding to that as well through its own plans for Newton Plantation.
The minister thanked Sir Trevor for his contribution to the Barbados Museum and Historical Society over the years, lauding his vision and dedication to the culture and heritage of Barbados.
By your investment in the museum and in cultural heritage, I believe, Sir Trevor, that you understood perhaps before many of us did how important this space and this museum will be for Barbados, and again, not even for us, but those that come behind us.
Sir Trevor was humbled by the occasion.
I'm just simply overwhelmed, simply grateful, and also enthusiastic, because everything that I've heard suggests and makes me feel that I've got to get more energy and keep the ball going.
Sir Trevor Carmichael was awarded the Knighthood of St. Andrew in 2013 for his outstanding contribution to the financial services sector, international business law practice, and his numerous exceptional philanthropic and voluntary activities. Akeem Plinkett, CBC News.
We'll take another break here, but when we come back, we'll have the weekend sports and weather.
Sports time. Good evening. I'm Damien Best. Well, the West Indies lower order fought back to help them to a competitive total against England in the first T20 international currently in progress at Kensington Oval. Set into bat, the Windies were in trouble at 69 for 5 before Romario Shepherd with 35 not out, Gudakesh Modi 33, and Andre Russell with 30 helped them recover to post 182 for 9 in their 20 overs. Nicholas Pooran top scored with 38, while Saqib Mahmood snapped up 4 for 34 and Adil Rashid took 3 for 32. Well, moments ago, England in replay were off to a great start, 97 for 2 after 9 overs. The second T20 of the 5-match series is set for tomorrow again at Kensington Oval. It starts at 4 p.m. Well, Notre Dame will play Britain's Hill, while arch rivals Weymouth Wales and Ellerton will battle in the second fixture of the quarterfinals in the Prime Minister's Cup tomorrow at Friendship. CBC's Anne Margaret Boyce looks ahead.
The first match features Notre Dame Soccer Club going up against Britain's Hill United at 6 p.m. Let's look at Dames first. One of the best third-place finishers in the group stage, despite only losing once 2-0 to Deacons. They've recorded a lone win in the prelims against St. Andrew Lions, beating them 4-0 and were held to a 1-1 draw with Parish Land. Jamar Peter Crout Grisette is the man many fans will look upon to deliver for the Dames, having scored 4 goals this tournament, including the equaliser in the round of 16 versus Technique, in a match they went on to win 8-7 on penalties. Britain's Hill is a team which finished second in Group E, also losing once 2-1 to Allerton. They have registered one of the biggest wins so far in the competition, an 11-0 thrashing of Maxwell. Their main man will be Rommel Bino, who scored 5 goals in that contest along with the consistent Ray Snag. Dames will have their work cut out for them and must defend well and take their chances in front of goal if they are to progress. Britain's Hill have the better front line of the two teams with Bino Snag and Sharan Hoyt. This match promises to be entertaining, but if you ask me to pick a winner, I will have to go with Britain's Hill 3, Notre Dame 1. The main event of the night is a clash in another chapter of one of the biggest rivalries in modern-day football in Barbados, Weymouth Wales versus Allerton. Based on the stats, Wales will start as strong favourites as they've defeated Allerton in 3 cup finals within the last 7 years. For Wales, it has been a collective effort. They've got the better of Checker Hall, Technique, Silver Sands and Cave Hill, pretty much cruising through the tournament with the likes of Akil Appaway, Keemore Headley, Romario Herwood and Nadre Butcher all chipping in with the goals. Allerton will be their first real test, and the guys from St. George are determined to bring an end to the Wales reign. They've started this campaign with a 2-1 win over Greens and backed it up with victories against Britons Hill, Maxwell and Gull Hill to reach the Final Four. Former Barbados captain Rashad Jules has been the talisman for Ellerton as the joint top goal scorer with 7, and he will be the key if Ellerton are to stop Wales. Shaquille Bell is the X-factor, but this game could very well come down to the defense. The team that defends better will advance to the semi-finals. So my prediction is Weymouth Wales 2, Ellerton 1 in extra time. Anmar Goodrich Boys, CBC Sports.
Yeah, thanks, Anmar. Well, Barbados has named striker Thierry Gill in their lineup for the all-important CONCACAF Nations League play-in matches against Guyana. The first fixture is set for the BFA Technical Centre on Friday, November 15th at 7 p.m., while the second match will be hosted by Guyana at the National Track and Field Centre on Tuesday, November 19th, starting at 8 p.m. 22-year-old Gill, who plays for Rapid Wien in Austria, is the only overseas-based player in the side. Both Barbados and Guyana will be battling it out for a place in the 2025 CONCACAF Gold Cup prelims, slated for early next year. The team is led by captain Andre Applewhite and the head coach, Kent Hall. Well, that's my time for sports tonight. The weather, the details, coming up next.
Good evening and welcome to the weather news. Well, unstable weather conditions are impacting us here in Barbados, but because of the very dry nature of the atmosphere, we received only a few brief showers. Now, the winds across the region, they are light to moderate. They are peaking at 14 knots for us here in Barbados, and mostly fair skies prevailed across the Guianas. The maximum temperature today was 31 degrees Celsius, the minimum 24 degrees. At present, the temperature stands at 28 degrees Celsius. The relative humidity 83%. The winds, they're coming in from the southeast. We take a look now at our satellite feed, where we do have that tropical wave at 66 degrees west. Moisture behind that system maintained some showers across the northern islands. But for us here in Barbados, we had just a few brief showers, up to 2.8 millimeters of rainfall in Mangrove, St. Philip. Meanwhile, the winds across the region, they are light to moderate, peaking at 14 knots for us here in Barbados. Those seas, they are moderate in open water, with swells peaking at 2 meters. We are urging small craft operators as well as sea bathers to exercise caution. Later on tonight, we can expect partly cloudy skies along with some showers and a very low chance of some isolated thunderstorms. Further south, mostly fair skies prevailed across the Guianas. Over now in the Western Caribbean, we do have 2 troughs maintaining wet conditions across most of the islands. Well, that's our first look at the weather. After the break, we'll have the forecast. Welcome back. In the forecast for tomorrow, the sun is expected to rise at 5:55 and will set at 5:29. The first high tide is expected at 11:26 in the morning and the first low at 4:37 a.m. The seas, they are moderate in open water with swells peaking at 2 meters. We are urging small craft operators as well as sea bathers to exercise caution. The winds, they're coming in from the southeast to the east and they're peaking at 30 kilometers per hour. For us here in Barbados tonight, we can expect partly cloudy to cloudy skies along with showers and a very low chance of some isolated thunderstorms. Over the next 3 days, occasionally cloudy skies along with a few showers can be expected.
Well, that's our news for tonight. On behalf of the entire team, thank you so much for tuning in. Good night.